Good morning, everybody. We're going to continue the week of reviews with a look at another Tom Petty DVD. This time we're going to take a look at Peter Bogdanovich's long-form documentary called Running Down a Dream, which chronicles the life and career of Tom Petty from the Heartbreakers inception all the way up to their 30th anniversary concert in 2006. Now, this is the ultimate document on Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. It not only covers the Heartbreakers' history, but it also covers in much detail Tom's solo career and his work with Bob Dylan and the Traveling Wilburys. And it has interviews with all the Heartbreakers: Howie Epstein, Stan Lynch, Mike Campbell, Ben Montinch, and Ron Blair, and of course Tom Petty. And it also has interviews with Stevie Nicks and other Tom Petty associates like Roger McGuinn, and archival interviews with George Harrison, Roy Orbison, and Jeff Lynne. And it, like I said, it starts from the Heartbreakers. It starts from Tom's early years of growing up in Gainesville, Florida, and it touches on his childhood and the fact that he had kind of a rough childhood. And he even talks about meeting Elvis on the set of, I think, Wild in the Country. And I love this documentary because it talks about, all of Tom's career. It even touches on, like I said, the Wilburys and Tom's solo years, and it really dives in deep, and it touches on why Stan Lynch was fired from the band. And one thing that I found kind of funny is that in the beginning part of the documentary, one of their record producers talks about, how it was kind of difficult to get the drum sound for Damn the Torpedoes, because and Stan Lynch kind of picks up the story, and he says because their producer took Stan drum shopping to get him a new drum set, and because the producer said that he wasn't getting a good drum sound because his drums are not very good. And I tend to agree with the producer, except that I think Stan Lynch, and I touched on this in our review of the Greatest Hits record on Monday. Stan Lynch, in my opinion, is not a very good drummer. And something else that I forgot to mention about the Greatest Hits record is that all of those songs, all of the songs on the Greatest Hits record were re-recorded. They were new recordings, and like I said, it was the last record to feature Stan Lynch, because after this he was fired from the band and replaced by Steve Ferrone. And one of the things that Tom talks about when he references Stan's departure from the band is that, when the past couple years, or the last few years Stan was in the band, he was complaining about some of the material, and one of the songs that he absolutely did not like became one of the Heartbreakers' biggest hits, Free Fallin'. And with Stan Lynch in the band, Tom was having to focus more on the drum sound. But when Steve Ferrone joined the band, Tom was not having to focus on the drum sound all that much. He could basically play the song. And something else that it touches on is the fact that Tom and the Heartbreakers worked with Johnny Cash when Johnny was recording his last studio records, the American series, and which is something that I didn't know, is that Tom and the Heartbreakers were John's backup band on those records. And because I love some of those records, and which is kind of not surprising to me, because Johnny does cover I Won't Back Down, and but anyway, and the documentary was released in 2007, and it was released in box set form, with the documentary itself comprising 2 discs of the box set, disc 1 and 2, and the third disc, which was the 30th anniversary concert, which we'll be discussing on Friday. And the 4th disc is a CD which contains some songs from the movie, from the documentary. In particular, a couple of my favorite songs that were featured in the movie were songs that Tom did not include on any records. Those were Keeping Me Alive, which I believe he recorded for Hard Promises, I believe. And another song which did make it to record, which was kind of an early Heartbreakers number, which is one of my favorite Heartbreakers numbers, called Anything That's Rock and Roll Is Fine. And also it was a bonus track, like I mentioned, on one of the overseas editions of the Greatest Hits record in '93. And so, like I said, this documentary was released in 2007, and I hope you enjoy it.